A very warm welcome to the channel. My name is James. This is the James Neil Cooper Show or James Neil Cooper channel, and we have got a lot to discuss. We're going to go through the tropical cyclone hitting the South China Sea, Vietnam, and soon to be South and southeast China. Of course, we got a report about the Three Gorges Dam and a report which has come out in the New York Times and Al Jazeera and a Dutch newspaper as well, and I can't remember the other outlet, about the the Western people who are living in China doing the pro-CCP narrative. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Before we get underway, I'd just like to say hello to all my members of this channel. So iCost Hop, Donna Betts, Paul, Tony Tiger, and Pacific Pammy. Thank you so much for supporting. So first of all, let's get into the situation about Super Typhoon Rai, or now I think it's been declassed as a Super Tropical Cyclone Rai, which you can now listen to what's happening in Southeast Asia at the moment. Let's do it. The Hong Kong Observatory on Monday will decide whether to issue its first December typhoon warning in 47 years as Tropical Cyclone Rai moves across the central part of the South China Sea. And here you can see the latest satellite image as of Monday, the 20th of December, 2021. Now, let's go into the weather for this. Now, I've enlarged the map, so the hand is by the Three Gorges. You can see the water there, or the rainfall, but you can also see Tropical Cyclone Rai, which seems to be very shortly going to hit Hong Kong, and then it's going to drift off to Taipei, getting weaker as it goes back into the Pacific Ocean. The Three Gorges just looks pretty dry, which is normal for this time of year. But let's go and have a look at the levels for you as well. And the levels haven't moved in the two important places. Chongqing, first of all, Kutan, 171.35, and the Three Gorges Reservoir is 171.23, with the inflow the same as yesterday. Inflow 6,200 and outflow is 6,790. We hope and pray that the people who are going to be hit by this cyclone or typhoon, whatever you want to call it, are well and safe, no matter nationality, creed, religion, or belief. We do pray for them. Now, let's get into what's happening at the Three Gorges Dam and a new report which I discovered on the internet. Let's do that. Yes. Since most of the silt load from the Yangtze's upper and middle reaches are now deposited in the reservoir, the downstream regions are being starved of sediment. As a consequence, up to 4 square kilometers of coastal wetlands are eroded every year. The Yangtze Delta is subsiding, and seawater is intruding up the river, affecting agriculture and drinking water supplies. Some scientists even suggest that the Yangtze nutrition load are responsible for the sudden explosion of giant jellyfish populations, which hampers fisheries off the coast of Japan. While there are no in-depth studies on this phenomenon, the discussion illustrates that the ecological impacts of large dams are often too wide-ranging and complex to be predicted or controlled. Water pollution. One of the biggest controversies surrounding the Three Gorges Dam is the amount of damage it does to the environment. Estimates state that 70% of China's fresh water is polluted, and the dam could be making it a lot worse. The dam sits on top of old waste facilities and mining operations, not to mention 265 million gallons of raw sewage is deposited into the Yangtze River each year. In the region surrounding the Gorge Dam, you will find it's home to 6,400 plant species, 3,400 insect species, 300 fish species, and more than 500 terrestrial vertebrate species. The dam has not only affected these species, but also the environment they live in. Erosion of the reservoir has triggered landslides and even threatened one of the world's biggest fisheries in the East China Sea. The dam is so massive that it has created a microclimate that has threatened the ecosystem in the region. And my final piece of news today is about the Western influencers, these Western YouTubers who are in China, been living there for quite a while, and constantly bash the Western media, okay, but they sort of don't look at the testimonies of certain people of what's happened, especially in Xinjiang. They only seem to do the diplomatic or the political side of it, which I think personally is wrong, because human lives, human rights are at stake, and this always seems to take a back seat with them. It's just a blame game. I believe in masses. When there are hundreds or thousands of people who would say this happened and it's constant, and there is video evidence, or pretty close to as much close as video evidence as you can get. These are real people, not made up people, real people. And the CCP narrative uses these Western shills, so to speak, related to it. The big article we have covered from the New York Times, but today we are using something from Al Jazeera. So without further ado, let's have a look at that. Foreign influences used to whitewash Xinjiang situation. Foreign social media influences are being used by the Chinese Communist Party as part of the global propaganda push to whitewash human rights in Xinjiang region, or the human rights situation in Xinjiang region, according to a report by the Australian think tank. China state entities invited foreign social media creators on a state-backed tours to the autonomous region and amplify video and other content supported by pro-CCP narratives, according to the report by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. In the report released last Tuesday, the Canberra-based think tank said it identified at least 546 posts by Chinese state-controlled social media accounts and promoted Xinjiang-related content created by 13 foreign influencers. The posts spanning January 2020 up to August 2021 included videos that depicted a whole positive image of life in Xinjiang, focusing on the region's food, culture, infrastructure, as well as more overtly political videos that had disrupted the allegations of what we can read after that. That content broadly seeks to debunk Western media reporting, the academic research, refute statements of foreign governments, and counter allegations of widespread human rights situation in Xinjiang, said the think tank, which receives funding from a range of sources, including Australia and the United States governments, the tech industry, and arms manufacturers. Often such content is promoted by party-state media and diplomatic accounts across major international social media networks, and in Ministry of Foreign Affairs briefings. This trends to be particularly noticeable given the difficulty faced by journalists porting or getting to Xinjiang. Military-industrial complex. Daniel Dumbrell, a Canadian vlogger based in Shenzhen, named the ASPI's report told Al Jazeera the think tank has more significant conflicts of interest than people it was drawing attention to. If their position is that it is problematic, my contact has been reshared by government officials. It helps further emphasize my point about ASPI, who have not only had their reports reshared and utilized by governments, who not only participate in government panels, but are funded by governments and military complex, industry complex to begin with, which is a significant, more problematic and conflict of interest-ridden issues, Dumbrill said. Now, this is something I'm thinking about doing. And yes, it really is sort of like a conspiracy theory. And the title is Did China, CCP, Release COVID-19 on Purpose for World Domination? It's an interesting topic. And you think about it in a way that how come the rest of the world is suffering from the pandemic for over 2 years, and China only for 3 or 4 months at the beginning of 2020 suffered a major lockdown? And can you truly believe, and is it true, should I say, related to the people who caught COVID in China and the people who passed away from this awful, deadly virus? So, did China spread this to other countries and made sure that their vaccine, they had the remedy for COVID, and it's just a small amount of people that the CCP would decide who would sacrifice their lives for this? It's an interesting theory, and I'm sort of going to do a little bit more research into it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, many thanks to my members of the channel, iHop, iCost Hop, Donna Betts, Paul, Tony Tiger, and Pacific Pammy. And if you want to become a member, quite simply, you can just go to the link in the description below, and it's as simple as ABC. And I would thank you in advance for the support. That's really very, very nice of you. Thank you so much for your time. As always, it's something that I can never give back to you. I really don't know how long this video is going to be, but if you have got to the very end, I'm impressed. And I will wish you a happy day wherever you are in the world. My name is James. Good day to you. Thank you very much again for your time.